Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Splash City Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hartman, and today we're going to be talking about state tournaments in girls basketball. It's state tournament week here. The focus of the girls basketball tournament is on Dinkytown at the University of Minnesota. They'll be playing games at Williams Arena and Maturi Pavilion. And if you've been following the StarTribune's coverage, either at StarTribune.com or Strib Varsity, you've likely seen the work of my guest today. It is Cassidy Hettesheimer. She's been writing a ton of articles and deep content, deep dives on girls basketball throughout the season. She recently did an article on the 2026 All Minnesota team, and she released a preview for all four classes as well. So we'll take a look at her predictions. We'll talk about any dark horses and some of the key players to keep an eye on this week, starting today, March 11th, with games over at Dinkytown. I also wanted to talk briefly about some of the things that I like to do. I go into a few Gopher games. There's maybe some people from out of town listening, like places to go eat specifically, maybe enjoy a beverage or two if you're of age for that. So I just wanted to kind of quickly go through that before we get into my conversation with Cassidy. So first of all, Dinkytown, you got the staples, right? You got Stub and Herbs and Sally's and Blarney Pub and places like that. There's Andrea Pizza, which is super good down there in Dinkytown as well. A lot of times what I like to do when I'm going to a game is we'll swing over to Ray J's or Max on University, over kind of closer to Northeast, but it's right up University, so it's a quick and easy drive down to the arenas. Max Industrial has awesome wings. The other ones I like to do are Blue Door Pub up on Como Avenue. Again, about a 5-minute drive to the parking ramps over there. Blue Door Pub's burgers are elite. Wings are awesome. Great beer list too, if you're into that. Breakfast spots, I like Al's Breakfast if you can get a spot. Just a classic Dinkytown location. The other one, though, sneaky, the Egg and I off of University and 280. So just kind of to the east of campus down there. Great breakfast spot too, especially for like a greasy spoon type of thing. The other thing to keep in mind east of the bank, the football stadium there, if you haven't checked it out, Surly Brewing and O'Shaughnessy Distillery. Surly Brewing has great food as well. Just a fun kind of complex there. Again, short drive. So if you want to swing in there after your games, or if you're going to the evening games and want to go before, that's cool too. But those are a couple of my go-to spots in that area. A lot of great options, of course. Feel free to hit me up in the comments if you got other ideas on where to go. But those are some of my go-to spots. But with that, let's get to Cassidy. Let's talk about the tournament, the games themselves. There's a lot of exciting players, like tons of D1 talent, tons of like sister combinations that are really interesting as well. So we talk about all of it in the next segment. So with that, let's get into it. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Splash City Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hartman, and today we're going to be talking about state tournaments in girls basketball. It's state tournament week here. The focus of the girls basketball tournament is on Dinkytown at the University of Minnesota. They'll be playing games at Williams Arena and Maturi Pavilion. And if you've been following the StarTribune's coverage, either at StarTribune.com or Strib Varsity, you've likely seen the work of my guest today. It is Cassidy Hettesheimer. She's been writing a ton of articles and deep content, deep dives on girls basketball throughout the season. She recently did an article on the 2026 All Minnesota team, and she released a preview for all four classes as well. So we'll take a look at her predictions. We'll talk about any dark horses and some of the key players to keep an eye on this week, starting today, March 11th, with games over at Dinkytown. I also wanted to talk briefly about some of the things that I like to do. I go into a few Gopher games. There's maybe some people from out of town listening, like places to go eat specifically, maybe enjoy a beverage or two if you're of age for that. So I just wanted to kind of quickly go through that before we get into my conversation with Cassidy. So first of all, Dinkytown, you got the staples, right? You got Stub and Herbs and Sally's and Blarney Pub and places like that. There's Andrea Pizza, which is super good down there in Dinkytown as well. A lot of times what I like to do when I'm going to a game is we'll swing over to Ray J's or Max in on University over kind of closer to Northeast, but it's right up University, so it's a quick and easy drive down to the arenas. Um, Max Industrial has awesome wings. The other ones I like to do are Blue Door Pub up on Como Avenue. Again, about a 5-minute drive to the parking ramps over there. Blue Door Pub's burgers are elite. Wings are awesome. Great beer list too, if you're into that. Breakfast spots, I like Al's Breakfast if you can get a spot. Just a classic Dinkytown location. The other one though, sneaky, the Egg and I off of University and 280. So just kind of to the east of campus down there. Great breakfast spot too, especially for like a greasy spoon type of thing. The other thing to keep in mind east of the bank, the football stadium there, if you haven't checked it out, Surly Brewing and O'Shaughnessy Distillery. Surly Brewing has great food as well. Just a fun kind of complex there. Again, short drive. So if you want to swing in there after your game. All right, the girls' state basketball tournament kicks off today. It is a fun time of year. Last year, I got a front row seat. My niece won the Class A state tournament with her team. But this year, I'm bringing on an expert to talk about all the games, the players to watch. Is it going to be chalk? Is it going to be upsets? What can we expect? Cassidy Hettesheimer from the Star-Tribune and Strib Varsity is joining me. Cassidy, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on. Oh gosh, expert is a high bar to live up to, but I'll do my best.
Right. Well, I mean, you've probably watched a fair amount of girls basketball. It's really, I think just the last, I don't know, 10 years, the girls basketball scene in Minnesota has come a long way, and there are just outstanding players all over the state too. And it's not just the metro. You're a transplant from Georgia. What
Mhm.
is like high level? What is your observations about the girls basketball scene here in the state of Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, it's super strong. Growing up in Georgia, there were standout players that I knew in school that, I knew around um my county. My high school has a McDonald's All-American this year. I go to Notre
Oh,
Dame for the first time in a while, I
nice.
think. I don't know if might be Naismith Player of the Year watch list, but one of those high, impressive accolades that we've seen
Sure.
some Minnesotan players get here in recent years. But no, I mean, I've been so impressed by just the variety of different strong programs, whether it's Metro public schools or smaller, towns with some really great teams in 1A and 2A, up north, down south. It's just, yeah, it's super impressive and such a high level. So many players have been really fun to watch. I started off the season um, in November. I went to a breakdown tip off event at Southwest Christian and just spent the whole day, sunrise to sunset, um, there, and got to see so many great players. And I think that was, just kind of set the tone for the whole season. I was like, this is just a great appetizer for an awesome season and so many great players.
That's funny you bring that up in November because I think I've talked to some coaches, and I coached my son's sixth grade team that just wrapped up. But it's such a grind, right? Like basketball season, you go through and it's fall, and sometimes the weather's okay, and then it gets real rough, and now you're in spring, and it's just like this renewed energy. What is it like covering that throughout the year? Do you feel that kind of same ebb and flow of the season?
Well, we've got as much as, I love covering basketball and getting to tackle basketball stories. Part of the thing that makes, I think, what we're doing over at the Strip interesting is that a lot of us are, dipping our hands in a lot of different things, writing about hockey, writing about basketball in the winter, particularly,
Hmm.
skiing, uh, just a variety of things. And so, um, I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between girls hockey and girls basketball, which, talk about two sports with a really big footprint and really strong talent pool in Minnesota. Those two
Hmm.
are you can't not mention those two.
Sure.
And so we kind of joke that the winter sports, especially once you get to tournament season, are like a marathon, not a sprint. The spring state tournament season is pretty condensed, where it's a lot of state tournaments, but in just the span of like 2 or 3 weeks. the fall state tournament season. There's a little bit of a break between like soccer and volleyball and football. But once you get to basketball and wrestling and hockey, and it's just back to back to back to back,
Hmm.
it can kind of feel like a grind. So, we try to, keep that in mind going into the season. And if we have some interesting sort of long-term stories we want to tackle, kind of trying to do those in December and January, and then things really start to heat up. And so, we're going out to games, we're watching players, we're talking to, players on stories maybe about like a specific team, or I got to do one this year kind of looking into different team and people's perspectives on ACL injuries. And so,
Mm,
uh, you know, we kind of do those ahead of time, and then the state tournament crushes,
yeah.
and then you blink and it's April.
Right. That was a great article, by the way. I read that, like the whole thing, because I honestly did not really realize that was a thing that was affecting girls more than boys in the high school scene. And really interesting. If you haven't checked that out, highly recommend that article, especially if you have girls playing sports like soccer and basketball. Really great job there.
See, I grew
Um,
up playing soccer, so it's
okay, so you know
pretty,
about the ACL tears.
yeah, pretty near and dear to me and my teammates and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's such a bummer, right? Like you work all year and then you have things like that happen. I know that that's kind of part of the deal, but it's if there's things that they can find out to help aid that, that would really help a lot of athletes, I'm sure. So
For sure.
um I want you to plug a few of the things you're doing, articles, your partnerships with Strictly B-Ball as well,
Oh yeah.
later, but let's get into kind of some of the games. So the girls tournament starts Wednesday the 11th, runs through Saturday. I know you've written some things on predictions, so we'll get into that. But one of the matchups I wanted to talk about first was the in 2A. You talked about New London-Spicer and Minnehaha Academy being like one of the really fun matchups in the first round. What do you think makes that specific game so exciting and intriguing to you?
Well, I've just been really impressed. I've seen Minnehaha play maybe twice this year at these sort of day-long matchups, and uh,
Mhm,
one of them was at the beginning of the season, and I know they've dealt with a lot of injuries, just kind of throughout the year, and they've got a lot of really young players, some really good defenders, and they just, I don't know, it's some of these teams that small class teams that play a lot of 3A and 4A schools throughout the season, they can add up to 10, 11, 12 losses, but
mhm,
you know, they're playing these really tough schools that are much larger than them, and so,
mhm,
I just these are two programs that have a really strong state pedigree. Um, New London-Spicers, obviously, I think they're 29-1, so they're going to be a tough team to beat, and they've got a great coach, the winningest coach in state girls or boys basketball. Uh,
yeah,
and so, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited that sort of the history and um the fact that, I don't know, to me, like, Minnehaha is kind of uh like a dark horse. They've been tested, so you never know what's going to happen
right.
when put out there under the bright lights.
Yeah, yeah, both teams, and then there's 2 other teams in 2A, Providence and Duluth Marshall, who've also played a lot of
Mhm.
bigger schools. Obviously, when you're good, you wanna get tested before tournament play. That one I think is, if they could meet in the championship, I was personally super bummed that Tori Orline and Crosby got knocked out because I did want to see that matchup again. But Chloe Johnson kind of being the sophomore, Greenway being a senior this year, that could be a fun matchup. What have you seen? I mean, and I think a lot of us have watched Maddyn Greenway now for quite a few years, and she's plays at an extremely fast pace. But what do you see for those who don't know who Chloe Johnson is? What is it about her that makes her so intriguing and such a great prospect?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, just that's class 2A, section 7 is so tough to get out of. I mean, Duluth Marshall, Proctor, like, is a great
Mhm,
team too, that Duluth Marshall had to beat, in order to make it to the finals. Um, Obviously, you know, Pequot Lakes that they ended up playing.
mhm,
So yeah, so that's a tough one to that was always going to be a grind to get out of. And yeah, would be remiss to not mention just, I mean, yeah, how impressive Tori's high school career is and how awesome it'll be that everyone in Minnesota can keep watching her at Williams Arena as
Yeah.
a Gopher.
Yeah.
Far from her last time on the raised courts there. But yeah, no, I mean, Chloe, I watched Duluth Marshall play a really good Orono team close early this year. Obviously, they're a little bit of a hike to get up to their home games, but we had strictly b-ball folks go up there and catch a game with them. They got stuck in a really bad snowstorm, but they hauled it up there. They were so dedicated and got up there and caught a game. And no, I mean, she's someone who impacts at every level. I mean, I think we see this in sort of these elite, small school point guards, Maddyn and Tory. They both hit the thousand mark in points, rebounds, and assists. They're the only players to do that. And I would put a lot of money on Chloe doing that at some point here. Not totally sure how close she is. I know she's at 3,000 points.
So many points.
I think she hit that this year. Yeah. And so she's just someone, I mean, 30, 10, and 10 is like not an uncommon stat line for her. Just smooth and, impacts the game at every level. It'll be really fun to get to see her sort of make her Williams Arena debut there. And she's got, just such an awesome story. And I know one of our columnists, Chip Scoggins, who, I mean, everything he writes is a must read in my opinion. But he did a really awesome job a couple years ago of going up there and profiling Chloe and her family. And so yeah, it'll be a well-deserved tournament for Duluth Marshall.
For sure. Yeah. Another one of those small town kids, I think it's Northome Kellier, has a girl that's averaging like 8.5 steals per game, which is like crazy numbers. You mentioned the University of Minnesota. I think it's one of the Ramlaw girls from Rosemont is also committed there as a junior. When you look at that 4A tournament, I mean, Hopkins favorite. I mean, they're always really, really good. Who else in that group do you kind of keep an eye on as like maybe their potential winners or at least upset picks against, somebody like Hopkins?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this 4A tournament. I do think, even though I know I went out and was at the Hopkins Wayzata Section 6 final, and I hated that all the section finals are on that Thursday with a couple of them on Friday. But I was like, can I not be in 10 places at once?
Right. Thank gosh you could stream some of them
now.
At
least, we were sitting up. We were streaming that game, and I was up there and was sitting next to the folks that were streaming it for us, and I had my computer, and I think I had I had the Duluth Marshall game pulled up at one point. I had Maple Grove Mounds View on my computer, and then I had my phone North and Rochester Mayo, and had all these going on. We kept giving everybody updates during the game. But no, I know Hopkins defending state champs, but they're very grounded, right? And sort of that just because they're the favorites or they're the number one seed or whatever, every time they put on that jersey, they have to prove themselves, which, is a really healthy mentality to have to go in. They were the 3 seed last year. And rode that all the way to the title, kind of showing that, doesn't just a top seed doesn't guarantee anything. Obviously we see that in tournaments. But I mean, they just, every time I've gotten to see them play some really good teams, Wayzata, Minnetonka, they've looked really good, just really deep. And so yeah, I'm excited to get to see them play again. But this 4A class is I think got some awesome stories, some first time teams that'll be really hungry to get on to state and make an impression. Eastridge, Chanhassen both making it for the first time. Chanhassen's got, I think, 3 players averaging 15 or more points. Kate Arnold's had a really great season for them. Among them, she's an all-state junior guard going to South Dakota. Monticello's a really cool story, getting moved up from 3A to 4A in this year. And they're I think based on enrollment, tied for or the smallest school in 4A, and they're back out of Section 8. And who else we got? Rosemount, obviously, you mentioned them. Rochester
Yeah.
Mayo, they're back for the first time, I think, 10 years, 2015. And the Maple Grove, they were the runner-up last year, graduated
Hmm.
4 starters, including Miss Basketball, Jordan Odie. And now they're back, and they've had a really strong year as well. I think that those top 4 seeds could have kind of maybe shifted, rotated in a lot of different ways, but
Hmm.
not questioning how it shook out, but just that any
Right.
of
Yeah.
those teams, or no, I think Hopkins was going to be the 1 seed. But
Right. Right.
the couple after that, sorry, let me correct myself. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they beat Maple Grove twice and only had that 1 in-state loss to Wayzata. So
Yeah.
no, they were probably going to be the 1 seed. But then I think after that, those next teams are pretty close, so it'll be exciting.
For sure, yeah. In 3A, a team I don't really, I'll be honest, I'm
Mhm,
not familiar with as much. Stewartville is the
mhm,
number 1 seed in the 3A tournament. Marshall, really good, traditionally there. And then you got, Benilde, who knocked out Orono in a very, very good section title game. Um, I think the 3A tournament is pretty interesting. So tell me more about Stewartville.
mhm.
What makes them go? Are they super balanced? Do they have one superstar? What's the deal with Stewartville?
Yeah, I mean, they actually funnily enough, I don't know if it'll go up today or Tuesday or tomorrow, but at some point our one of my coworkers, Mike Grand, is talking with their coach and Audrey Schindler, who's sort of their leading scorer, and she's our senior guard that's going to South Dakota State, who's been just a rock for them these past couple years. And so Audrey and then her younger sister Danica, I think, are the first and third leading scorers on their team. And Danica's a sophomore, and they were saying how competitive they are. I heard from Rand that I think Danica put Audrey in a headlock during a practice or something. I don't know. You have to go on Strib Varsity and watch that whole thing. It sounds like a funny conversation. I haven't seen it yet. But this is her 4th consecutive year at state. So this senior class, which is Audrey, and then JC Rath, who's going to be at St. Thomas, who's a forward for them. I think she's putting up 14-ish points per game. So they're really deep at a lot of different levels. They've got that experience. This is the first time they're the 1 seed. I think they've come in, they've been the 8 seed, or maybe that one of their first years was they were still doing those random draws, but I know they haven't been a 1 seed before or 2 seed. So this is their first time to kind of coming in as like favorites, the team to beat, which is a different experience. And so they've beat
Hmm.
Benilde this year. They beat Marshall 9 or 10 points for each of those. So decent, but not a blowout.
Sure.
So either of those teams will be hungry to get a rematch in, certainly over this Stewartville team. But yeah, they've just been they've looked good all year. They've got 1 loss as well. It's funnily enough, if I'm not mistaken, no undefeated teams this year in any size classification, which I've only been here, not too many years, but that was kind of surprising to me. I know last year there were at least a couple in the 2A, 1A tournament. So interesting.
Yeah, I think, what we were saying earlier about these smaller schools playing up, I think
Mhm.
that's part of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
used to be if you were a small school, you kind of just played teams in your area and you might run up a undefeated record. Some
Mhm.
of it, of course, like Paige Beckers when she was at Hopkins, they
Sure.
were usually undefeated no matter what. So, but I think Mountain Iron Buell in Class A is one
Right.
of those where it's like likely could have been undefeated, but challenge yourself, right?
Right.
And
Like Rock Ridge,
um,
I think, who's
right,
going to state in 3A.
yeah,
So a good,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so talking about my Mountain Iron Buell, I would say, like, again, 1 seeds are usually the favorites for a reason, but I feel like that 1A class is super balanced. I
Mhm.
mean, Sleepy Eye St. Mary's only has 1 loss, Central Minnesota Christian's been tested all year,
Mhm.
Hillcrest plays, some 2A schools as well, and they have just 2 losses, so, I mean, Northam Kelly with the girl with all the steals. I mean, they're 29-1. Like this is a very to me that Class A one is as open as probably maybe any of them,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm excited. That one will be fun. I think last year we saw in 1A a 7-2 upset. I believe it was McRae and Maryland,
McRae, yeah,
who's back. Mary
yeah,
Lou's back. So they're a 7 seed this year, I think. So they'll, be excited to maybe try to do the
yeah,
same thing. But anyway, no, I think that that class should be really interesting. It's like a lot of them I feel like in 1A, like you do see a lot of these teams, these really good 1A schools, play 2A schools, play 3A schools. And if they are sort of in the same neck of the woods, play each other, like North
Hmm.
Homestead and Mount Iron Buell have played each other this year, and Mount Iron Buell won that one 101-90, I believe, which high scoring.
That's a ton of points.
We can get some of those games at state. That'd be fun. But same with like Sleepy Eye St. Mary's has played some of these teams in this.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure everybody in this one, I feel, has probably played at least one other team from this tournament. But sometimes just geographical distance means they can't match up with
Right.
everybody, and so we don't see necessarily a Sleepy Eye St. Mary's versus Mount Iron Buell regular season game.
Sure.
So we get to see new teams kind of match up in different ways, which to me is fun and can lead to some maybe unexpected results.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we've kind of talked about high level all the brackets, and I don't want to hold you to this. This is more for fun. Nobody email Cassidy and be upset. But give me a prediction for the winner and a dark horse for each class, and we'll start with Class A since we were just there.
Class A, okay. Oh, do I have to stick with my predictions that I wrote online?
I mean, you don't have to, but that's kind of flip-flopping. You're not hedging your bets here. Come on now.
Oh, yeah. I'll pick 3. I'll pick the dark horse and then this one online. No, I'll back up what I said on Strib Varsity, and then I'll do a dark horse, which was probably my other team I wanted to pick.
Sure.
I'm always like someone who I'm always like, I want to pick all 1 seeds down the whole ballot. I was the same way with hockey. And so or did I end up picking?
Sounds like you're going with Mountain Iron Buell.
No. So I didn't necessarily pick Mountain Iron Buell for 1A, but again, that's not any sort of knock on them. But no, I said North Home Kelleher. I think some of these, I've covered, some state tournaments here with just across different sports. And sometimes you see kind of a pattern of like teams that are at state for the first time. I know we talk a lot about experience and how that helps, and it does. But sometimes if you got a team and they're led by some really talented seniors and it's like first and last trip to state, that's a pretty exciting thing. So
sure.
That game against Mount Iron Buell 100-90, I mean, I would think probably no other team has probably hung 100 up on North Home Kelleher. I do think they played Duluth Marshall and beat them like 105-94, which again, another high scoring game. But I said I picked them, but again, it's kind of a wide open bracket in my opinion. Some of these really good teams, so I'll be interested. And then dark horse.
Nice.
I don't know. I think NHREG is down from 2A into 1A this year. They're the 5 seed, I believe, and
correct.
They're with enrollment, teams bounce between. So I don't know. I'd be kind of interested. Again, they're a team that's got some really strong seniors that can kind of light it up. So I don't know. They may be my dark horse to make a push into the championship.
I like it. I believe last year's Class A winner, if I'm not mistaken, West Central, I think was the 5 seed. 4 seed.
5? They might have been.
I know they were in that game, the 4-5 game.
Yes, I think you're right. I think they might have been the 5 because I remember I think sitting there looking up like when was the last time, a 5 or 4. But yes, you're right. So that was 1A.
Similar scenario where they played a lot of 2A teams throughout the whole year, like Minnehaha, New London-Spicer, Sauk Center, teams like that, and kind of prepared them. So let's jump to 2A. All right, so 2A, Providence, heavy favorite, I would think, slowing down the Greenway sisters. But any other thoughts maybe on who you should look out for in 2A?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tough to pick against Providence. I mean, if someone somehow figures out how to slow down Maddyn, which we haven't really seen this year too much. Then they have to deal with Becca and Emma Miliband, two other all-state D1 caliber players. So, a 1, 2, 3 sort of punch that makes it pretty tough. Maddyn's not just the all-time scoring leader, but also the all-time assist leader for a reason. And so, if someone is able to figure that out, kudos to them. I will, I will eat my words. But no, in terms of who's playing against them, I don't know. I think kind of, recurring theme here, but just teams that have played tough teams. I think Duluth Marshall, they've had some tough games against, I think the Minnetonkas and the Maple Groves and some teams like that this year. And they've had a couple maybe that have been closer than they would have liked. But no, I think between Chloe and some other strong players that they've got with her, I don't know. I think they make it to their first state title game.
Nice. That would be fun. That'd be appointment television, I think, for most of us.
That would be that. That games was in prime time last year at 6
Yeah.
and it could be again this year. And no, that would be cool and would be fitting sort of this Duluth Marshall not renaissance is the right word, but with John Neepkins of UCLA having a great year. So yeah, kind of a banner year for them in the program.
Yeah, nice. How about 3A? Who do you think will win, and who do you think would be a fun dark horse pick?
I'm honestly so bummed that all the 3A quarterfinals are the same time as the 4A. Again, I wish I could be places at once. I was we were making our coverage plan for the state tournament and figuring out who would be at what. And I'm like, oh, I want to be there. I want to be there.
Yeah.
Personally, I think if I had to vote on I think tournament that might have the most exciting games and matchups and, kind of, 4 or 5 really strong contenders, just a really deep field in general, went through, all the way down. I think it'd be 3A. I mean, we've seen, Stewartville again, like we had talked about. They've beaten Marshall, they've beaten Benilde St. Margaret's. They have the experience. There's no reason that they shouldn't be able to make a push to the final. Benilde St. Margaret's, hard to count out the 3-time defending state champions.
Yeah.
Marshall and then Hill Murray. I don't know if we've
yeah,
but I mean 5 seed with Maya Wilson and Ashley Wilson and Sarah Popard, that lighten it up from deep from them. Crean-Durham Hall.
Yeah.
They beat Hill Murray, I'm sure in a game that feels like forever ago now at the beginning of the season.
Sure. Yeah.
And they had I think they were another 7 seed that pulled off an upset last year in 3A. So, and then not to mention, I think rounding out Rockridge, Wilmar, and then we got the 6 is
Totino Grace.
Grace, right? Yes, we were just talking about this, and then they, like you said, overcame some injuries and sort of battled through that this season and have played some tough squads. So I'm really excited for this one. This will be really great. I think in my predictions, I had said Marshall. Again, they've got some great seniors. Reese Drake, Talia Bigler. They're both going to Southwest Minnesota State. Reese for volleyball and Talia for or it might. I don't know if I might be butchering that pronunciation. See, as a writer, sometimes you're
you know how to spell it. You know how to spell it
over again. But two really strong seniors. They've got a volleyball state championship with a couple of those players this past fall, actually beating Benilde St. Margaret's, funnily enough, over on StribVarsity.com. My colleague Marcus Fuller, who's been doing some girls basketball for us this year, in addition to boys basketball, does basketball across Minnesota weekly. Really interesting column. I always find some interesting nuggets across the state. He just had a little preview about that. So there's more information there. So I had Marshall avenging last year's state championship loss to Benilde St. Margaret's in the semifinals, then going on to win state. But I don't know. I mean, it's not a dark horse to pick the number 1 seed in Stewartville, but if my pick is going to go to the 3 seed, I think if I had to pick another team, I think Stewartville winning a first title this year is a possibility. It would be
nice,
pretty cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. Friend of the pod, Travars Bennett, head coach at Totino Grace. So I'll be pulling for the Eagles there. And then 4A, Hopkins again, the 1 seed. But who do you like? Who's a upset pick if you had to pick one?
Mm. I think, yeah, I mean, again, I feel similarly that to Hopkins at Providence, or to like,
Yeah.
I'll pick them till I have to pick against them,
Right.
until until someone proves me wrong.
Yep.
But yeah, no, sort of a dark horse. Man, this 4A fields will be really fun. Rosemount's fun to watch. Got to see them play a couple times. And like Rochester Mayo, they're so deep too. They've got just great players at so many positions. So that I'm almost like the field's so good, I don't want to pick chalk all the way through. Like I want to be like, oh, Monticello, or oh, Chanhassen
Yeah.
gonna pull off an upset, or Eastridge, or whoever even playing, keeping it close. But I don't know. It's tough to go against these teams. Um, in my predictions, I did end up picking chalk and having a Rosemount Hopkins final, which I think would be pretty fun. Rosemount's got a really deep team. They've got a ton of players that can just put up 5 or 6 points on any given night, and it kind of just adds up. They got good solid D's, strong shooters from deep. So I think it would make a really fun final with Hopkins. I mean, I've been really impressed by Hopkins' defensive play when I've seen him. And so just getting to see him try to. I mean, when I watched him play YZ, I mean, Trojans may only made one 3-pointer, and so like if
Mm,
they can pull that off against Rosemount, that would be a feat. So that would be a fun final, but I wouldn't be disappointed with any way that 4A shakes out. Should be a good time.
yeah. I mean, Hopkins could potentially meet Lake Conference Full Maple Grove in the second round, and that in the semis, and that could be, that's always tricky when you have to play the same team
Mm-hmm.
3 times in a season.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, if you go
uh,
back, they played them twice, and one was, I think, like a 12 or 13 point loss, maybe 15. And the other one was a lot more lopsided. But that game, Maple Grove was missing All-State guard, Montana bound, Kate Holmquist. She's a great defender on our All Minnesota team, just super solid for them.
mhm,
Played in their state championship run last year a lot, or state championship game run last year, I should say.
sure.
And so yeah, I expect that and would want a closer game of a semifinal. I think if everybody's back and they're firing on all cylinders. So yeah, that would be a fun one if they get a state championship rematch in the semis, which we could get in 4A and
And
3A.
yeah. Awesome. Well, it's going to be a great week. Cassidy, thanks for joining. I'm going to let you plug. I know you did some great work this week on articles on your top 25 list, but anything you want to plug here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just plug sort of just everything that our team is doing. I mean, um, we've, the Star Tribune's really been investing a lot in our high school sports coverage. We're wrapping up. This will be like, we started under the new Strib Varsity name brand and everything in August. And just the amount of different hands and brains that are sort of contributing to this team has been really awesome to see. I mean, haven't worked in such a sort of collaborative and team oriented space like this, I don't know, ever or in a long time. And so, yeah, I just, whatever, I mean, whoever's listening to this probably likes basketball, I would assume. But,
Yes, I hope so.
if you like, if you like hockey or football or soccer, anything, got kids in swimming or uh, tennis, we try to get out to, every state championship that we can,
Hmm.
find interesting stories. So if, check it out, reach out to us. We're all kind of, our emails, our work emails exist on the internet, and we love to hear from people. And if you have story ideas, student athletes that you think deserve some spotlight, let one of us know.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I've been following it all, ever since it launched. I think adding the live stream is super cool. You guys are doing cool stuff there, and then the partnership with Strictly B-Ball is awesome.
Mhm.
So there's more social content around stories like the trip to Duluth for those guys. That was fun to follow. So I appreciate all the work you guys are doing to cover these tournaments. And to your point, yes, we're basketball fans, but we also watch a lot of other stuff. That hockey final on Saturday between Moorhead and Minnetonka was epic. And the Class A game, Warroad
We
and
were
Hibbing
both
Chisholm was
so
awesome.
excited.
So we can appreciate the beauty of all these prep sports. So thank you for all your work. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate and have a great week. I'm sure it'll be busy, and don't eat too many pretzels over there.
Oh my gosh, I'll do my best. I'll have to keep mixed up with all the different Williams Arena foods. So we'll see
Yeah.
what I end up what my menu ends up being.
All right. Well, take care. Thanks again, Cassidy.
Thank you.
All right. Again, I want to thank Cassidy Hettesheimer for joining the pod today. She can be found on Instagram at Cassidy H Sports, as well as covering anything and everything for Star Tribune and Strib Varsity's high school sports coverage. She'll be, I'm sure, doing articles on the spring sports as well. And we'll hit her up again next year as a girls basketball preview, perhaps. So appreciate her coming on and sharing her thoughts and insights on the girls basketball state tournament happening this weekend. So again, thank you to everyone. More to come. We'll have more guests this week and a big time pods coming on Sunday for the bracket reveal Sunday night. Go for women, seeing if they're going to be hosting any tournament games. And then, of course, the men's tournament bracket revealed too. We'll be breaking all that down this weekend. So lots more to come this week, but thanks for listening. Make sure you follow, subscribe, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. Make sure you follow on YouTube specifically because we'll be doing a live show here in, I think it's going to be the Friday of March Madness. And you'll want to be able to, if you want to join that, you can't make it out in person. That would be a great place to do that. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook as well, Splash City Basketball Podcast, and we'll have more notices and events and things to do coming up. So appreciate you being here. This has been the Splash City Basketball Podcast.